Start things a little mellow before I get cranked up here. And we got a good one tonight. Stand by. All right. Let's do it.
What you're about to hear are stories told from each individual, where nothing is off limits. Anything goes. This is Snowman Unfiltered.
Welcome to the Monday Unfiltered. And I got a hell of a subject tonight. But I'm going to make one little bitty change to it. You know, I got to thank Charles Faulkner for the subject matter tonight. But the tweak I'm going to put it in is this. Why are people so quiet when not only black boys get abused? Let me change that. I'll tweak it again. Why are people so quiet when not only do boys get abused, but when men get abused? Underrated Darkness in the house. Good to have you. F Holiday, good to have you. And I sound despondent because this is a tough subject for me, especially as an adult. Because in many ways, it's forced me to not only look at the times I got abused, but in many ways relive it. I talked before about when a man gets pushed to the wall or pushed to his limit. What about when a boy gets pushed? When a boy or a man gets pushed? and pushed and pushed and pushed. I've been there. I've been there. In many ways, I still am because of the memories. I talked about how I got abused in a relationship in 2015. You know, the worst thing that a black mother could do to a black boy? Kill off his dreams. That's not only verbal abuse, that's emotional abuse, and that's also psychological abuse. Because how in the hell in 1 minute you're telling him to get his shit together and he's trying to, and just when he's at the point where he thinks he has it together, you snatch it away emotionally by verbally chaining him to you. This happened to me in my adulthood. Dr. Charles put up a great question. Why is it that when boys are told to get their shit together when living with a black mother, they're never given a key to the house? Why is that? Like I said, this is tough for me because it's forced me to look at some of the things I've had to live with. It's forced me to relive some of the things and times I've had to live with. And there were two black mothers in my house, my mother and my sister. Here's a curveball for you. When talking about when men get abused, like I said, it doesn't have to be physical. Most of the time when men get abused and when boys get abused, it's more emotional than anything else. You know, people ask me, how do you know? I lived with two of them. As I've said so many times before, they would be at each other's throats 1 minute, and then the next minute they'd be cackling like witches at a brew. And that's bullshit. And everything centered around my nephew. He even, I believe, was forced to go on a trip with them to New Orleans. And why do I believe he was forced to do so? Because when I drove him to the Jewel parking lot in Chicago, he just had this look. He looked at me and it's just like he was pleading for me to bail him out of that trip. But I know the hammer would have come down. I know for a fact the hammer would have come down had I done that. And what makes it so unfair is that we're not allowed to fight back. Even as adults, we're not allowed to fight back. Why are we not allowed to fight back? Because not only would the side eye ensue, but a lot of chatter would ensue also behind the scenes. Been told by my mother too many damn times. Too many times. I don't know how you live with how you treat your mother. Well, I don't know how you live by the way you treat your son. And I've admitted this aloud. It was today that I realized this was a universal thing. The dysfunction is endless. It is. But men are not supposed to talk about it. Well, I do. And I will. If you can, please support via Cash App. You see the tag on your screen. For those of you that are just taking this podcast with you via audio, the tag you need is $tallman Dr. K50. And I want to wait for some more folks to come in so we can really, really, really hammer this and discuss it. The forms of abuse. The times of abuse. And again, the moment he retaliates is the moment he's hauled off. In 2017, I spent a week in the mental ward in Michigan City. It was then I realized I was really fighting depression. And the bitch that made me snap had the absolute gall to say to me, I know you have hit rock bottom. And I went completely off. I went off. Sometimes to this day, I wonder what took me so long. And I now have an answer. Fear. Fear of being looked at the exact way that I was looked at. I wound up in the back of a police car. I'm just glad they took me to the hospital. I was homeless. I was missing my baby girl. The person that was letting me live with her basically kicked me out. And then she said that to me, and that was all I could stand. That was the last straw. That was the last straw. I couldn't take it. I still have moments, especially within the past year, and my wife will confirm this, where I've hit the wall. And I don't know sometimes what to do. I really don't know. In many ways, I discovered my voice, courtesy of my wife. And yet some days I still feel I have to hold everything back. Excuse me a moment. I apologize for that. There are sometimes, I gotta be real with you guys, that I do this and I feel I'm not doing enough. Do I ever want to fly solo on this mission? No. I'm sorry, I'm about to break down and cry, but it's just a lot of memories have been stirred up about the emotional abuse and the unfair treatment I got in my house as an adult, in my parents' house. Very, very unfair. It basically came down to my sister being able to get away with basically murder. Yet when I toe the line, I'm told I'm not good enough for anything. I literally had that said to me. I literally had that, and I also had the phrase, "He's nothing but a wannabe," said to me by my own mother. Worst way you can abuse a boy or a man is to kill off his dreams by saying stuff like, "You need to be realistic." There's no way that can happen. How many of you guys in the chat have had that said to you? How many of you guys have had that in some form or fashion said to you? You're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to get a real job. Thank you, F. Holiday, for the Cash App. F. Holiday, how was it said to you? Put it in the chat. Louis Conyer, what's up, man? I just need to know why, when black boys get abused, nothing happens in the form of repercussion. Why is it that when black men get abused, or when men get abused, period, there's no form of repercussion whatsoever? None. For the most part, none. Ouch. Yeah. Name calling, laughing at you, telling you you can't do something. Telling you that. That's a great answer, Louis, because you're seen as human. Maybe seen as human, but to a black woman, especially one that's related to you, you're never equal. Why does this stuff make me cry? Why does this stuff make me despondent, even though it's a conversation that needs to be had? Why does it make me cry? Because most of it I've lived through. Most of it I have lived through. It's it's just sad. Hey, Trish, you believed enough lies, straighten your crown, and stand firm in your kingdom. There's a correction. You are not seen as human to black women. Ain't that the truth? We've been lied to. We've been ridiculed. And this says it all right there. Whether it's for money or help around the house. And a lot of it is by force. If you all can, hit the Cash App and help this part of the empire out. Because I want to have more of these conversations. And some of them I'm going to put behind Patreon. I've said it so many times over. You get to and beyond the point where you say, that's all I can stand, because I can't stand no more. And you just say it, no more. Thank you, Trish. Know that this one do all day, every day. That is so appreciated. There are two queens in my household, my wife and my daughter, that celebrate me just as I celebrate them. And I love them for who they are and always will. Always will. See, and the strange, stupid thing is, it is a cycle that, in all blunt honesty, has yet to be broken. Let me say that again. It is a cycle that has yet to be broken. And somebody put what I'm about to say into the chat, please. If you can break bad habits, then you can break bad cycles. Let me say it again. If you can break bad habits, then you can break bad cycles. This is one, a big one, that needs to be broken. I realize more and more each day how blessed I am to see number 50, that I saw my 50th birthday and my 50th year. But a lot of things have to be relived. And thank you. If you can break bad habits, then you can break bad cycles. This is one that desperately needs to be broken. which prompts the question, and I want to see your answers in the chat, which prompts the question: if cycles can be broken, why hasn't this one been broken? Yeah, let me pose that question. If bad, I know bad cycles can be broken. That's why I said what I said. If bad habits can be broken, then bad cycles can be broken. Why hasn't this one? Why hasn't the abuse of men been broken? Why hasn't that cycle been broken? I can answer part of that question because men are not allowed to talk about it. Allowed. Been told a few times you could talk about it in a men's group. To me, that's still not talking about it aloud because it's contained. Because it is still contained. As long as it's still contained, the cycle continues. Memories trapped in amber. So true. Because until now, men have been silenced. Ain't that the truth? No matter how much you're told to get over it, or it'll change with time, you're an adult now, etc. That heavy, haunting, damning spirit never goes away. No, it doesn't. Memories trapped in amber. The night I got hit in 2015, I was forced to make a decision between the woman who I loved at the time and my freedom. I chose my freedom and got the hell out and went for a drive. And just when I thought everything had calmed down, it happened again and again and again. Until finally in October, I went and hid for a good 2 months. I'll say it again. If you can break bad habits, then you can break bad cycles. The cycle of abuse to boys and men needs to desperately be broken. It's like I told a friend of mine tonight. I didn't think I'd ever have my chains broken until I met Jody. And just her understanding and her listening to me and letting me cry and scream and yell. And there are times I don't want to yell and scream because she's been yelled and screamed at enough. And she just hugged me and she says, I get it. She just gave me a hug and said, I get it. Whenever you need to talk to me. Talk to me. That's all we want. That's all boys want. That's all boys want. To have someone to talk to. But more often than not, in the black community, there are no fathers in the home because they've been run the hell off. They've been running the fuck off. And when that happened, those ties were severed. Visitation, my ass. Now, the ones who are getting themselves together and want to co-parent, that's who I'm speaking to. from a general standpoint, it just seems like black women today just don't care. I know I'm going to get the side eye for saying that, but I don't care. There are black women in the community today that just don't care. I lived with two of them, my sister and my mother. And when I welcomed a daughter, I got absolutely no help and support whatsoever. None. I got no support whatsoever. I told y'all the story. What I got was, are you going to be there for her? Like I had a choice. I know no other way. And I lost that little girl when she was 2. Know what else hurts, man? When they've been robbed of being a parent. And that's one I and a few men that I know that's a pain that they know very personally, and I know very personally. That's why I tell my children now, Cheyenne, Dakota, Sonia, Carmen, Sam, I tell them all that I love them. I give them a hug and a kiss, and an I love you every time I get a chance. They all may be grown and have their own lives, but they're still my children. Let me say that. Let me say that again. For those of y'all in the cheap seats, since I met the kids that I have now through Jody, I try my best every day to tell them that I love them and that I'm thinking about them and that I'm here for them. That's what they need. My little girl Cheyenne, when I was having surgery, dropped everything she was doing and flew from Los Angeles to Indianapolis to be with me while my wife was at work. That's what we do for each other. You know why men are afraid to support each other? I'm going to pose that question. Let me get some answers. Why are boys and men so afraid to support each other openly, no matter what the venture? I have a couple of theories. And one of them is because somehow they're afraid that circle of support is going to get snapped in half. Am I in the ballpark or am I wrong? Tell me now. You're not supposed to support men. Men are not supposed to support each other like that. Who says? I have friends that I grew up with in grammar school, and we're still tight to this day. 30 plus years later. What's wrong with that? It's called us walking in our freedom. Yep, that and being shamed for it. Because we're afraid that cycle will get picked off. And to this day, we still get shamed for it. I can't tell you how many times I've been given and getting the side eye because of who I married. I went where the fuck I was celebrated and not just tolerated. Jody chose me and I her. Period. There's a lot for us to work through. A lot. There's a lot for us to get through and a lot for us to work through. I know that. But we're talking about generations of abuse against men, and they were silenced for it. It's the toughest cycle to break. The cycle of abuse against boys and against men. It's the sole reason why a bunch of men will say, I'll attend your live in one stream and show up empty once the support feeling wears off. Yeah, because of the shame that eventually will come for it. Well, it can come for me, I don't care. I put it all the way out there what I'm going through. I put it all the way out there what we're going through. I am finally at the point where I don't care. I can honestly say this at age 50, where I don't care what the fuck people think. Let me pose this question. Not just with men supporting each other in general, but with the way YouTube is going, how come black men can't support each other here? And everybody grows. That's all I ask. That's all many black men on YouTube ask is just for the support. Because if the black women can get it in droves, then I know goddamn well we can too. But then it goes back to that fear of having the circle once it tightens somehow being broken and being picked off. And I don't want that for anybody. I don't want that for anybody. That's why I try to join as many lives as I can with the men that I've gotten to know through YouTube just in the past year. Here's another question. Why is it so wrong for one man to say to another, I need you? Somebody put that question in the chat for me. Why is it wrong for one man to say to another, I need you? I will keep asking that question. We were conditioned to be that way. If you could put all of our stories in a ball and throw it somewhere, you'll literally see an emanation of the worst of hell. Might even get a high five from a demon. Yeah, that's true. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel, like this video on the way in. I want to get this channel to 1,000 subscribers. If we can't do it before the end of the month, let's try and do it before Halloween so I can get this channel monetized and I can use it and the super chats and everything to help my family. But I'll repeat a question I've asked a couple of times already, and it's pretty simple. What is the problem with one man saying to another, I need you? I need your help. I know men have wanted to say that to each other for the absolute longest time. When they have nowhere else to turn. When they have nowhere else to go. When they have nowhere else to turn. Hey, Miss Lolita, thanks for joining. Like the video on the way in, subscribe to the channel. And Victor, I love you for this. Better question is, why is it wrong for one man to say to another, I need help? Two great questions. Why is it wrong for one man to say to another, I need help? And why is it wrong for one man to say to another, I need you? Support via Cash App. The tag you need is $Tallman Dr. K50. It's to have these difficult conversations, and the other purpose, as y'all know, is to help my family. I'll briefly tell my story. Beat pancreatic cancer, was declared disabled, and can't get any disability benefits. Wife's doing all she can to keep us afloat, and I got to do something. I'm gonna open the panel in a couple of moments. But to say that it's unfair would be a horrid understatement. How many times I told Victor, I need you. And if he was able to help, he was. And if he wasn't, he wasn't. And that's fine. You know how many times Victor and I have said to each other, we need each other? You know how many times we said to each other, I need you? Links in the chat for those of you who want to join. And as I've said, like the video on the way in and support via Cash App. I love this when Charles said, my brother, my champion, my savior. Something subconsciously told me to not accept it. Something deep. Oh man, I even had that thought for a second and can't explain why. You don't have to explain why. It's conditioning that's being reversed. And I'm happy with you, F. Holiday, that it's being reversed. How many times have we helped each other or gone to bat for each other? Still do. Let me ask a bigger question. And I know I'm going to touch some nerves when I say this. I've asked, what is wrong with one man telling another that I need you? I've asked, what is wrong with one man saying to another, I need help? And I did an earlier episode on this. What is wrong with one man telling another, I love you? Somebody put that question in the chat for me. Because I see not a damn thing wrong with it. I told my dad and my granddad and the guys in my family all the time I loved them. And it's like you said, F. Holiday, we've been conditioned to not say things like that to other men. Ain't nothing wrong with my brother, my champion, my savior. If you got a man that you, to the men, if you have a man that you know that's a friend or a family member, give him a hug and tell him that you love him. That's how we start breaking the cycle. That's how we start breaking the chains. And let me go all the way there. Freedom of speech, my ass. Not when one man can't say to another, I need you, I need your help, and I love you. That shit's being censored, man. And it ain't right. It's just not right. And you're right, Victor. It doesn't make you any less of a man to admit you have love for someone or that you love someone. Doesn't make you any less of a man. Matter of fact, makes you more of a man because you're expressing your feelings. But we've been conditioned, like F. Holiday said, for so long not to express our feelings. What's so wrong with that? My brother told me a week ago before leaving my place, and I cringed. We never talk like that. I made a joke to escape it. Man, don't escape it. Wrap him up in a hug and return it. embrace it, and return it. That's what we got to start doing. We got to embrace each other. Men, we have to embrace each other. And I know Trish is in the house with us and she supports what we're doing here on this channel. And I appreciate it. I appreciate the men that hop on with me whenever I do this. And I plan to do more. I started finding fault with the term knights in shining armor. A real knight doesn't have shining armor. Their armor is full of dents and scratches because of the constant fights that they deal with. Amen to that. I tell Victor all the time that I love him, verbally and in person. There was a time where I was homeless and I didn't feel like staying in the shelter. I called Victor and I said, Victor, I need a tremendous favor. And he says, what's that? I said, can I crash with you for a few days so I can feel human? He said, get your ass out here. He said, get out here. I said, I'm on my way. That first night we stayed up until at least 4 a.m, just talking and reminiscing and laughing. My son comes over and jokes with me all the time. You know how refreshing that is? You know how refreshing it would be to see fathers and sons joking with each other, especially from a young age on. Man, Dad used to have me cracking up all the time. It's not that the bond has to be strengthened. The bond has to be built and not rebuilt either, because if you think about it honestly, it wasn't built correctly. The side eyes, the weird glances, you guys are fags. No, we're just men that love each other in friendship. And 2 words that piss me off. No homo. Why the fuck did that become a qualification? Why the fuck did that wind up in our lexicon? Yeah, F holiday, to feel human. It's like Victor talked about. There's so many kinds of shelters out there for women. Not begrudging that at all. But where's the same kind of benefit for the men? That has to change. The bridge has to be built from man to boy and back again. That bridge has to be built. Not rebuilt, but built. You tell a man that you love him, you're seen as a coward. Why? Tell a young boy that you love him, you're seen as a coward. Why? I've been a sports announcer for 27 years, done mostly high school games. I'm not afraid to walk up to a young man and tell him, great job, I love you, and I love watching you play. And you're right, Victor. What's even worse is when you ask for shelter from domestic violence and you're told that you are usually the cause of domestic violence. Boy, that's a story I don't want to live again. Been there. Burnt the t-shirt when I got done with it. And you know what's not fair? It still continues. It still continues. What's up, A Pizzle? I'll say it again. If y'all can support via Cash App, you see the tag on your screen. Doing this for conversation with men. I'm doing this for my family. Like I said, I tell my son Dakota all the time that I love him. No matter if he visits for a few minutes, for an hour, or whatever. What's wrong with one man telling another or telling a young boy, look, I love you? And I'll say it again, that's a bridge that desperately needs to be built. Not rebuilt, but built. Picture how much better everything would be when that connection is made. And Victor, you're so right about that. I want you all to read this, what Victor just said, and let it sink in. How many of these quote unquote real men out there didn't have a father in their life? I'll wait. And you're right, Victor. It does have to start young. Sarge and Tiny, my grandfather, my uncle, my cousins, all started with that bridge. All started with that bridge. AB Media, what's going on, my friend? I got bleeping robbed of raising a child. But I got children in my life now that respect me and I them. They've seen their mother get abused long enough. Needs to change. Desperately needs to change. Desperately needs to change. It's difficult for me to talk about because I've lost both my parents and I've lost a child. And to say it ain't fair would be an understatement. I've kind of run out of monologue. So if anybody wants to come up and chop it up, please do. This is a conversation, and I'll say it again, that absolutely needs to be had. Conversations like these need to be had. What's going on, Victor?
What's going on, man? Can you hear me?
I got you.
How you feeling? That's the first thing that we need to start doing. Asking, how are you? How are you feeling?
Mm-hmm. You start doing that, then the truth comes out about how we are feeling.
That's what needs to happen.
Mm-hmm.
You question how many times you see a lot of these active shooters and and terrorists. I mean, just think about it. Yesterday, we just remembered. I can't say celebrate. We just remembered. Was it now the 21st
Mm-hmm.
anniversary of September 11th?
Yep.
And to piggyback off what you said, how many men who perished in that thing either didn't get a chance to or didn't choose to say I love you to someone else, and they're gone.
I'm glad
Tomorrow
I
is
had
not promised.
I'm glad I had a chance to repair the relationship with my dad. I wouldn't be who I am without the second half of that relationship with him.
Hmm. My mom and my father, they split. I want to say that's probably about maybe 11, 12. I am still so grateful my dad chose to stay in my life,
Grateful for that also.
because you get a lot of men who, like you said, hit the wall and they just nope out.
Mm-hmm.
They walk away. And I'll say like this: a lot of people think it's a government issue. Look at how welfare started. I mean, you and I lived in a time where we had one of the craziest, most violent projects in the world, Cabrini Green.
Cabrini Green.
Do you remember the welfare program back then?
Indeed, I do.
They would give mothers money, even give you extra if you have an extra child, but the father is not allowed to be there.
And that started an avalanche.
Hmm. And people would go to check, so the father would stay away for a week, 2 weeks, months, years, and then all of a sudden they just never come back at all.
Because it got to the point where he wasn't welcome.
Not he wasn't welcome; it was showing he wasn't needed. Because
That too.
men are supposed to be the providers, the breadwinners, they're supposed to be the ones that bring the meat and the bread home.
Mm-hmm.
And with the government stepping in, that
All
wasn't
those
necessary anymore.
all those responsibilities were taken away.
Yep.
All those responsibilities were taken away.
I always tell my family that I love them, male or female,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't know.
Nor do I.
My grandmother didn't recognize me before she passed,
Mm.
but I still am glad I got a chance to say that I loved her before she did.
I'm glad of that too. I didn't get a chance with my grandmother because she passed away while I was away at college in 1990.
And you also have to show it too.
Yeah, you do.
It can't just be an empty word or empty phrase. There has to be action and meaning behind your words.
Must be. There must be. There absolutely must be.
I spoke to a friend of mine, as I told you, was going through a rough patch when it comes to domestic violence.
Mm-hmm.
Told me how hard it was just to get some form of support, some form of shelter, and was basically told,
That it was his fault.
not his fault, but just men in general are
Mm-hmm.
the cause of it. And had the nerve to bring up Ray Rice.
Oh, jeez.
You know what I said to him? Next time someone says that, bring up Amber Heard.
Mm-hmm.
Bring up a woman who does that. It's not a man thing or a woman thing, it's a human thing. And
It most certainly
humans
is.
deserve support, whether
Mm-hmm.
it's a woman needing shelter from a abusive husband or a man needing shelter from an abusive wife. They
Mm-hmm.
both need support. They deserve it.
Been conditioned to been conditioned that we don't that the men don't need support, that they're just supposed to shove it down and keep going, and that's just not possible.
That they're supposed to take it. That's why I said I started finding fault. And I remember when I was a kid, you know, just a kid with my mom at the park, Little
Mm-hmm.
girl nearly fell off the monkey bars. Just happened to catch her.
Mm-hmm.
Mom was so grateful she kept calling me the knight in shining armor. That happened for years. And originally I thought it was a badge of honor. I'm like, yeah, I am a knight. Didn't take me till now to realize the biggest fault in that. How many knights really have shining armor?
Honestly, the true knights don't have any shining armor.
Correct. Because it means they didn't go through anything.
Exactly.
The true knights, the true warriors, got dents, scratches, scrapes,
The
all
true.
types of blemishes because they went through some shit.
Exactly. Exactly.
They went through some shit, and they need it repaired.
Mm-hmm.
It's always still there. There's always a scratch, always a dent, always a ding, because that shows that they've been through shit. They're stronger
Mm-hmm.
than the ones that sit around and don't let anything happen to them, or they don't put themselves in a precarious position, and therefore they have shining armor. That means you didn't do anything.
And they're too afraid to do anything.
Yeah.
And they're too afraid to do anything. Thank you, F. Holiday, one more time.
That's why you see a lot of guys in here who don't have a father figure. Where they end up,
Right.
dead or in jail. I'm not saying a mother can't do it on her own. Most mothers have to.
Yeah,
And big respect to them for doing so.
absolutely. A married one.
Big respect to them who do it.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't mean you can just replace or make the other side obsolete. I remember about a couple of years ago was just perusing social media, as you would say. Already sent something to my father made me cry actually
Mm-hmm.
because he was already he was traveling, and I just said I wanted to see you, but I'm not in the best of ways right now. Didn't get my hair cut yet. I'm just not ready, not shaved. You know what he said to me? He said, "It doesn't matter how you look, just as long as I can see you."
I remember those words being said to me because it really doesn't matter.
And it broke me because even at 38, I still feel like I'm fucking up so bad I cannot look my father in the eye with any type of pride because of how badly I fuck up. And he never gives up on me.
And he won't either.
No, he won't.
And he won't either.
And what gets to me is at the same time that I was thinking about that, I then see a tweet on Twitter called hashtag End Father's Day.
I saw that shit.
People saying we don't need fathers. They're not necessary.
My ass.
Or
Every bit of necessary.
oh, what's even worse is one smart ass said, we don't need Father's Day because most of the time when a man and a child together, it usually leads to a sexual crime. And I sat there and I just said, where has the respect and gratitude gone for fathers?
Out the fucking window. Somebody put that question in the chat. Where has the respect and gratitude gone toward fathers?
And I'm talking about real fathers.
Yes.
In the words of Lawrence Fishburne from Boys in the Hood, any fool with a dick can have a kid.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a real man to be a
To
father.
be a father. Yes, it does.
Because I know there are some ain't shit fathers. I know that for a fact.
Yep.
I've seen them. I used to hang around until I stopped hanging around them.
And I'm glad you did. I'm so glad you did.
But the ones that deserve that respect, the ones that go out there and bust their ass to provide for their children, provide for their spouses, they deserve respect and should be respected and celebrated. Not because not because they did this, but because they were man and woman enough to stand up and say, "Look, this is what we do." Because we are grown ups, we do have responsibilities, and we face them head on rather than hide from them.
Exactly.
And I swear, some of this stuff makes me as mad as a Bears fan after the fucking spaceship was put on the Soldier Field.
Oh, dear God. Oh, dear Lord.
Yeah, I get that mad.
Oh, boy, I understand that.
I get as mad as a bronzexual when he's told that MJ is the king. We are not. And I'm saying every man should be celebrated, but the ones that deserve it should have it.
Without question.
Without question. For when we see, happy Father's Day, Mom, but there's no happy Mother's Day, Dad. No, should
No.
be.
No. There isn't, and there shouldn't be. Like you said, there shouldn't be.
There shouldn't be happy Father's Day, Mom either.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm going to leave it there for tonight. I want to thank you, Victor, for coming up. I appreciate you and I love you.
Love you too, brother. As always.
I love you guys for hanging out with me. I'll be back again tomorrow. Let's see if we can get the donations up to a full 1,000 for this week. Get the likes and the subscribes up as well. I'll have another one tomorrow. And thanks to y'all for hanging out with me this evening. To F Holiday, Miss Lolita Gore, AB Media, to Victor Locke, my best friend, one of my best friends, A Pizzle, who else was here? And Trisha Bray. Thank you all so much. Louis Conyer, thank you. Underrated Darkness, thank you. I love you guys. I'm off to bed. And we'll do it again tomorrow night. Good night.
Thank you for tuning in to Snowman Unfiltered, where anything goes.